A sharp call cuts through the African woodland. A honey hunter stops and looks toward the trees. On a branch above him, a small brown bird flicks its pale-edged tail and calls again. Then it flies. Not far, only to the next tree. There, it waits. When the hunter begins to follow, the bird moves again, drawing him deeper into the woodland, one short flight at a time. Somewhere ahead, hidden inside a tree, beneath the ground, or within a rocky opening, is a colony of wild bees. The bird may already know where it is. But finding the nest is only the beginning. This is the greater honeyguide, scientifically known as indicator, a wild African bird famous for an extraordinary form of cooperation with human honey hunters. The bird is not trained, owned, or kept by the hunter. It lives freely in the landscape and joins the search only when an opportunity appears. Sometimes, the human begins the exchange. In communities where honey hunting remains part of local life, hunters may use distinctive calls to announce that they are ready to search. These signals differ between communities. When a honeyguide responds, it gives its own chattering call, moves into view, and flies ahead. The hunter listens carefully and searches the branches for another glimpse of the bird. The journey rarely happens in one continuous flight. The honeyguide advances in stages. It crosses a patch of open ground and lands in a tree. When the hunter closes the distance, it flies again. Each pause keeps the two partners connected. Each new flight carries the search farther into the woodland. The bird moves easily between the trees, but the human must follow from below. Thick brush slows the hunter. Uneven ground breaks the line of sight. For a moment, the honeyguide may disappear completely. Then the call comes again. The route continues. The nest can be remarkably difficult to detect. Wild bees may build inside hollow trunks, concealed cavities, earthen openings, or other protected spaces. From a distance, almost nothing may reveal what lies within. As the search approaches its destination, the honeyguide's movements and calls may change. The hunter begins studying the surrounding trees and listening for the movement of bees. Now, the bird's task is nearly complete. It has brought the human into the right area, but the final meters still require experience. The hunter examines openings in the bark, follows worker bees, and listens for activity inside the cavity. At last, the nest is located. But it is guarded. A defensive colony of bees protects the comb, and the honeyguide cannot simply force its way through the entrance. The food it seeks remains sealed behind layers of wax and living insects. This is where the human becomes essential. The hunter prepares smoke and approaches with the tools needed to reach the nest. The smoke does not make the bees harmless, but it can reduce their defensive response and make the colony safer to approach. The careful rhythm of the journey now becomes a dangerous operation. Smoke drifts toward the entrance. Bees circle through the air. The hunter works close to the nest, opening the cavity and exposing the comb hidden inside. Only then does the resource become accessible. The humans collect honey and selected pieces of comb. What began as a distant bird call has now reached its reward, food that might have remained hidden without the honeyguide's assistance. Yet the bird's part of the exchange is not over. While the nest is being opened, the honeyguide usually remains away from the densest activity. Once the people have finished and the immediate danger has decreased, the bird can return. Fragments of broken comb remain near the opened nest. Wax has been exposed. Depending on what is left behind, larvae and other hive material may also become accessible. The honeyguide feeds among the remains, taking food that would have been far harder to reach while the nest was intact and fully defended. The outcome benefits both sides. The bird can locate concealed bee colonies across the landscape. The human brings smoke, tools, and the skill required to open the nest. Neither performs the entire task. Instead, the process is divided into a chain of complementary actions. One partner calls, the other responds. One leads, the other follows. One locates the nest, the other opens it. Researchers have studied parts of this communication experimentally. Their work indicates that greater honeyguides can respond selectively to human honey hunting signals, including calls associated with particular local communities. But the partnership is not identical everywhere, and it should not be mistaken for friendship in the human sense. It is cooperation built around a shared opportunity. A wild bird gains access to wax and exposed nest material. Human hunters gain a more effective way to find honey hidden across a vast landscape. The entire sequence may begin with nothing more than a sound in the trees. A call. A pause. A short flight into the woodland. In nature, cooperation does not always require affection, ownership, or obedience. Sometimes, it begins when two species discover that the obstacle facing one can be overcome by the abilities of the other.